Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GSL Code A tournament. We're here coming up with our last match on this stream. Of course, Caldor's doing the other 4 matches on the other stream right now as well. We just saw Idra, unfortunately, go down 2-0 to Zenex Avenge.
Yeah, and Avenge just really pulled it out there with a nice transition from his Phoenix play. It may have been his plan all along, but either way, that was the only thing that would have pulled off a win for him in that game, and he pulled it off.
True.
And now we've got Bumblebee against Huck, and the winner of this will, of course, play against Avenge. And he may, if Huck wins, for example, he may be able to avenge his teammate if he defeats Avenge. We'll see if Huck can win this one. You know, Bumblebee is a formidable opponent. Now, for those of you guys who go, who's Bumblebee? I've never heard that guy before. Yes, you have. He's formerly known as Terius. Yeah. He left FOU and joined Prime, took a new ID. He played in the Team League last season. So he's been around. You guys just maybe have forgotten that ID change, or maybe a lot of you guys remember, like, why don't a lot of people just tell me this person? Oh, well, now everybody knows.
Now everyone knows.
We're going to take a look at 4GG against Core.
Going on right now, I guess, and Core just lost a lot of stuff because he wasn't paying attention for a second.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, sometimes this can happen when you go heavy Marine and your opponent's not quite sure how many Marines you have. Of course, with good stalking control, you can out-micro the Marines, but if you mess up for just a moment, that can happen.
Actually, Finn looks way ahead because Core's not even getting his he's just getting his Nexus up, and Finn already has his expansion mining, I think. No, never mind, his expansion isn't completed yet, I'm sorry. Unless he's making a third in his main, that might be what's on the production
tab.
That
is actually what is going on.
Okay.
I'm not sure what build Core did. It looks like he may have been trying to plan a Blink Stalker all in, but decided not to do it. Either way, he's losing a lot of Stalkers here. Nice control by Finn.
Finn's just like trying to go 3 different directions, and he's killing stuff whatever direction he goes. But he might actually, nope, never mind. At the last second, he's going to stop microing those and lose his Stalkers. Wow, so Finn, it looks like he's going to take this first game. Well, at least that's the momentum, at least. It's not going to win the game right now.
Well, he's got 2 bunkers up. His opponent has started charge, but with 2 base against 2 base and with the superior army for Finn, as well as he's got combat shields and Sim on the way, it looks like he's definitely in the lead here.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to move out and take that third pretty soon as well.
Yeah, he's already got, as you mentioned, the command center in his main. It's being made into an orbital right now, as you can see on the production tab.
And remember, if you have the premium service, you can actually switch over to our second stream and just watch this whole game casted by Caldor right now.
Very true. And the gases have been taken now for Finn. That's why his starport's up and going. He's got a reactor on the way for the starport as well. He's going to start medevac production soon. He's ahead in every way. It's going to take a lot for Core to win. Core appears to have switched teams to Prime. I did not know that, so my apologies earlier for saying Core was on Zenex. He's still part of the clan Zenith, but I did not know that he had moved from the team Zenex to Prime, so yet another player from Zenex falls, joins another team.
I like the addition of the turret at the front there, just in case of DT shenaniganry.
Yeah, and he knows the Twilight Council's there. He scouted that earlier, so very smart move.
He's going for High Templar, though. Or, well, he's getting Templar Archons at least. I would think High Templar instead of Archons at this point, but otherwise Finn's just gonna have a huge army, and if he doesn't have any AoE, he's just gonna lose. There's no way he can just out macro Finn at this point with AoE units.
And the worker count still in Finn's favor as well, plus mules, so he's definitely got a stronger economy. As you can see on the production tab, the medevacs are coming out. Upgrades are on the way. 4 barracks in production, as Finn now is going to take a 3rd base. Moving actually to the forward command center.
And then moving on to the Korean casters, and then moving on to Mole Trap and Wolf. So good strategy by Finn.
Well, he's got that 3rd base up. Probably likely to take that game, but if you guys want to catch the rest of the action, make sure you get the premium service. If you haven't already, tune into Caldor's stream. Watch it with live Caldor Terry.
Caldor Terry?
Commentary.
I like that.
I tried. It didn't quite flesh out like I wanted it to, but
that's okay.
Looks like our players are in the lobby. We're going to see some stats info on these players here. Huck against Bumblebee, formerly known as Terius.
There he is. Huck, of course, was in Code S. He was actually one of the few Protosses to be able to do well in Code S a couple seasons ago.
Very true. You know, there was a time in which people said there were rumors going around, you know, is Huck the best Protoss in the world?
Oh, I thought he definitely was.
At that time, you know, it's hard to say, but he definitely was one of the best. That is undeniable.
Yeah. Unarguably in the top 3 Protoss control.
Yeah. And, you know, this is not Bumblebee's first time GSL. He played back in Open Season 3. I remember, I think this was his only time playing in the individual leagues. Of course, he's played in the team league as well. And our map here is going to be Entombed Valley, that 4-player map, similar to Shakuras with its ramp style. You've got a regular ramp in the main base, and of course a secondary ramp as well. See how this plays out. It's a Protoss versus Zerg.
Yep. And you know, I was talking to Huck earlier, and he was talking about how he hasn't really had a ton of time to practice. He hasn't been practicing as much like since the holidays, but the last week he has been practicing a ton in preparation for this. So hopefully we'll see that pay off for him. The game has begun. We're about to get in it. EG Huck versus Bumblebee Prime. We're gonna find out right now. And thanks again to Hot 6. Excellent energy drink for sponsoring the GSL here. And here we have formerly known as Terius. He is now transformed into an insect with a stinger. He is not the right player. I'm sorry, that was a complete fail.
I was wondering about that. I was like, wow. I could have saved you, but I don't know if it would have made you look worse or better, so I wasn't sure. I just didn't know what to do.
I don't know why I was thinking. All right, you do this one.
All right, up here at the top left, the player that Moletrap just described, formerly Terius Foyu. He is now known as
Bumblebee Prime.
Oh, man.
And of course, our player at the bottom right on the team, EG. One of the strongest foreigners ever to play in the GSL, has fallen all the way down here. He's one of 6. You know, I didn't really talk about this. I was going to talk about this earlier. There's actually 6 foreigners in Code A. One of them has already fallen out, Idra, so now it's down to 5. Sin advanced, so he remains in Code A. Will be in Code A next season no matter what. And we have Huck, we have Maxed, we have Shigua, and we have Maro. Yep. Those are the remaining foreigners, and they're all going to be playing over the next few weeks. So if you're a foreigner fan, you want to see foreigners in the GSL, you know, I was talking to you about this earlier. This kind of reminds me of the old days of Broodware. You know, when Broodware was you know, rising up their first few OSLs, you had players like Gur, you know, and some of these players are kind of like Gur. They're like the first foreigners. They're doing well before StarCraft really gets fleshed out. Will we see something like StarCraft 1 where suddenly all the Koreans just take over? There's no more foreigners in the GSL. Could that happen? It might happen. We're very close to that.
Yeah. Although I think the infrastructure is definitely a lot different this time around, whereas, you know, there was no support outside of Korea for any kind of competitive gaming.
Very true.
Like there was no, you know, MLG, there was no IPL.
Yeah, there were no huge sponsored teams. There was no Evil Geniuses.
Exactly. So the infrastructure is way different in StarCraft 2.
I want to note 6 Zerglings are in production here. The Forge just finishing for Huck. He went Nexus first, and then Fast Gateway, and his cannon is on the way. Should be up in time, but he cut it pretty close. Very greedy with the build that he chose here.
Yeah, this is a really interesting build. He actually used an extractor trick to get extra Zerglings out, I think, because Bumblebee was supply blocked at 19 out of 18 for a moment there to get out that initial group of several Zerglings, and he's running them across the map right now.
And Huck has seen this. He's already positioned his probe to possibly wall with the gateway. Then he decides, no, I don't need to do that because my cannon's finished here. But a few Zerglings will get into the main base. Perhaps. No, I don't think so. With a cannon positioning like that, it's just not going to happen.
I beat Sin. Well, did he make 8 Zerglings or just 6?
6.
He made 6, okay. He still could have run by and gotten probably 3 or 4 into the main, though, if he wanted to.
It's hard to say, but yeah, I mean, possibly so. Oh, gets the probe.
Ooh,
now,
nice.
The reason why that was significant is now Huck is in the dark. He can't scout to see if Bumblebee's taking a fast third, if he's continuing to mine gas or not. I like that choice to go ahead and grab that probe.
Yeah, that was the probe outside the wall, and he's made a complete wall, so.
A Zealot will pop out here for Huck, and he's going to try to use that to scout afterwards, but still not going to be quite as useful. Not as fast, for sure, and Bumblebee definitely knows the Zealot's on the way now.
Yep. Yeah, and so because he knows that Zealot's in the way, he can make a couple more Zerglings, and he can actually probably kill that Zealot before it even gets into Scout.
Well, Huck is going to check the third base location before Bumblebee can prevent him by the looks of things, but Bumblebee's slowing the Zealot down just ever so slightly with 4 more Zerglings about to pop out here. He may be able to prevent the Scout. It's not significant considering Bumblebee has not taken a fast third. But the gas is still being mined for Bumblebee. That's what Huck really would like to see. That's the important thing that Huck, of course, is going to be looking for. His Stalker is on the outside here as well, and Bumblebee, I don't think is going to be able to stop him from checking the third base. Zealot isolated here, though. Nice micro by Huck.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. The Zealot kind of distracting the Lings, and the Stalker is able to run in and check. Of course, the Stalker might die now, so...
It's good control. Remember, the Stalker has the exact same movement speed as unupgraded Zerglings, so should be able to escape. In fact, we'll take out one of these Lings on his way back.
Got that shields to recharge as well.
Ooh.
Speed is going to finish in about 5-10 seconds, though.
Huck is adding 4 gateways, but perhaps more interestingly, Bumblebee is adding 3 extractors and getting a fast lair. We're going to see Mutalisk play, but...
Interesting. Yeah, but there is an Overlord flying right. Oh, did he?
He saw one of the gateways, but he has not seen anything else.
Oh, and looked like that Overlord was heading into Scout, and it would have scouted all those gateways at the perfect moment as they were going up.
We have seen Viking flowers, but this, my friends, is a gateway flower. Surrounded by the Artosis pylon, or surrounding the Artosis pylon. Yes, and this is going to be the old school +1 6 gate. No, actually, Huck has started Twilight Council. I was going to say his gates are just a little bit late for your standard 6 gate here, but he's definitely going to be able to put on a ton of pressure with these gateways. What kind of pressure will he choose? Spire in the mineral line for Bumblebee. If he goes with some heavy Zealot pressure, he may actually just kill Bumblebee. It's all going to come down to the choice he makes here. If he waits, then of course he won't be able to kill him. Warp gate research is done now. All the gateways warping. He's going to start +2 as soon as his Twilight Council finishes here. Huck does not have a forward pylon. That's one thing to note as well.
Yeah, he might... You think he might be going for a +2 since he's got the Twilight Council? No, whoa, never mind.
Dark Shrine.
Dark Shrine going up.
This is a weird choice by Huck, but Huck, he's going to move out with the Zealot pressure. He's been spotted. Bumblebee going to try to force him to turn around. He needs to ignore this. He's got a full wall. There's no reason to turn around. He needs to go forward. Now Bumblebee has time to get more spines up. He's going to have a total of 4. If he can get those 4 spines up before Huck attacks, he'll be fine.
Oh wow, the Zerg was able to get in. Okay, for a second I didn't think that was a complete wall, but that was actually a really beautiful little wall, creating a nice funnel for the Zerglings to actually go in there and die.
Huck's going to check. He's going to be able to force a cancel on this third base, but the Spire is going to finish either way, and
yeah,
it's going to put Huck in a funny situation here because he has canceled the third base, but the Spire's going to give Bumblebee control over this map. This is a really good map for Mutas.
Yeah, and the other thing is that he only has 1 Stalker with that army. The rest of them are Zealots, so if the Mutas come out, catch him, he could lose a lot of those Zealots for nothing.
Huck knows what's going on now. He's got to realize, since his opponent, he's only shown Zerglings, he's got to know there's Mutas out. He's actually going to continue this attack here up into the natural, but there are Mutas out, and there are several spines as well as Queens here.
And he's going to see those Mutas and be like, oh crap, and now he's going to run, but this is a rock in a hard place, and the rock is chasing him. Because the other option was attacking those spines, which also would have been suicide for those Zealots, so he's just going to lose a huge portion of his army for nothing.
He does hide the DTs during this. There are, in fact, 5 DTs out right now, but the Overseer is morphing just in time.
Yeah.
And this is going to spell disaster for Huck, as the DTs will arrive and be taken out by Spines and Mutalisks.
Wow.
I have to say, what more could Huck have done when he knew, okay, he came to the conclusion there are Mutas out. If he sent his Zealots home, that wouldn't have accomplished a lot. He was like, maybe I should try to do something with these, but the Mutas were out a little bit faster than he anticipated. Everything just, unfortunately for Huck, going wrong for him. He didn't make any terrible decisions, but everything kind of went wrong for him. His Zealot pressure was not as effective as we would have liked. He went for the third rather than the natural, and when Mutas are what your opponent is doing, sometimes that can be the bad choice. It's not a bad choice, but it's not the best choice, let's just say.
Yeah, I guess maybe he was hoping that the Zealots would draw the Mutas away from his main so the DTs could get in if there were no Overseers. But yeah, this is just not good at all for Huck. Everything he's done has been completely countered. He went for this really strong ground army, and there was air units. I mean...
Well, he does spot this bottom left hatchery over here, and he's going to take that out. And the Zealot pressure is really designed to punish someone who goes for Mutas or a fast third base. He just didn't know which. And in this case, it was Mutas, and it was pretty fast, so he tried to send the Zealots. He was like, well, I got to do something with these. He definitely went Mutas, but it was just the wrong moment. And now he's got not a lot of units to deal with these Mutas. The Stalkers are in the middle of the map.
That pylon's going to go down. It's going to unpower 2 of the gateways.
Yeah, that gateway flower losing some petals. Huck loves me not. That's what those gateways are thinking, man.
That's what they're thinking. The DT, yeah, taking out the bottom left base. Didn't kill any drones down there, I don't think, but got the hatchery, so pretty good. Little snipe there. Bumblebee already has his normal third up, though, and there you have the DT going in to try and do some damage. There's already an Overseer and 2 Spines there, so DTs are not going to be able to do anything. Huck has built up a good Stalker army now, though.
Let's talk about what Huck does have, okay? He's got a third base going on the way right now. He's walled off that secondary ramp into his third. And so he's got a pretty decent defensible position here. Huck is the guy, if you guys look back, especially at Huck's older games, he's the guy who can be really far behind from a build order type situation like this.
Yeah.
Turtle heavily. Huck's like the best Protoss at PDZ, in my opinion, at taking that third and just holding it no matter what against all odds. He is that guy, and he's going to try to do it here. He's only a few, about 20 supply behind Bumblebee right now. He's got that third base up pretty secure. He's got 4 cannons on the way. He's defending pretty decently against this Mutalisk pressure, and he may be able to turtle on these 3 bases. He's got a Templar Archives on the way. He's got +2 armor on the way. He's going to put him at 2-2. He's got an okay situation for him here.
Yeah, no, he's behind, but he's definitely not out yet. Blinks in, going to pick off a couple. No, actually doesn't kill any mutas, but softens them up. Yeah, Huck is definitely one of the best, not just Protoss, but the best pro gamers at handling crisis situations, both in decision-making and in control. He can make a lot of use out of very few units if
he's the guy who he's the guy who in scrappy situations he makes something happen. I remember
exactly.
I think he played against a different Zerg. It may have even been I think it was an open or the first season of Code 8. Well, hold that thought.
Oh no.
Actually going to lose his Twilight Council, which means no +3. That's unfortunate, but I remember he played against a Zerg a long time ago, and I was watching the game when he was at half the supply of his opponent, and it was Shakura's Plateau, and somehow he just forced his way into that third base, was able to hold it and win the game just through really smart decision-making, and that is the Huck that I know.
Oh no, he loses the cannon. He cannot lose that Archives. Luckily, Bumblebee goes for the Assimilator and picks that off. Starting to make some Archons now.
Yep.
And that's going to be handy as well. Soccer actually blinked down to the low ground. The Zerglings are like, sweet!
Really good trades for Huck here. He's still about 30 supply down, but a 3-base Protoss against any number of bases for Zerg is actually okay for the Protoss if he can create the correct composition, and then if he can use that army to be mobile around the map, and Huck is doing just that. He's defended all the Mutalisk harass despite losing a ton of Zealots, despite having a very small Stalker count. He's still able to somehow make this work.
Yeah. I think it's all odds. I think it's Bumblebee looks like he's going to attack here, and so basically what Huck's going to have to do is somehow fend off this attack, and he's going to have to try and then build up to like near max and try and do some kind of a counterattack, because Bumblebee is getting everything right now. He's getting a 5th base, he's getting all the tech.
Yeah, Hive Infestation Pit is up, his upgrade for the Infestors is done, and he wants to trade here and start probably going into Broodlords. Templar Archives looks like it's going to fall, but Huck's not going to turn around.
No, he can't afford to turn around right now, and the Mutas are going to come in and do some damage, and Archon's morphing, Zerglings attacking the front, though this looks bad for Huck, but he's going for the counterattack. Bumblebee is not turning around either. He's going for the trade. Can Huck pull off a successful trade? The Zerglings are everywhere. Baneling's there as well, but he's got a few Stalkers warping in the high ground. A huge Protoss army trying to get up this ramp with the Spine Crawlers.
May be able to do this. The Spines finishing just in time here, but I think Huck has too strong of a force in the front. But meanwhile, the force at Huck's main base, I think, is going to be enough to hold this with the cannons. With more Stalkers warping in, I think Huck has done it, Moletrap.
He may have. He's held off for the most part in his main. He's just the Mutas left. He's going to lose that base, but he's here in the heart of Bumblebee's territory. He can take out the Naturalists marching up into the main. He can take out all of those tech structures.
He's got that tech, man.
And the warp-in Stalkers look like they are going to hold off those
Yeah,
Mutas.
I think so, man. And we talked about this before. We said Huck is the scrappiest for us. He's the guy who's got the decision-making, the control. How often do you see a base race against Mutas go in the favor of the Protoss? Not very often.
Not very often is the correct answer for that one.
GG! He went into the hive of that Bumblebee, man. He took the honey.
He took out the hive.
Oh wow,
man.
Huck with some great decision-making. totally botched his early game, forced to cancel, but was able to use, through great decision making, great patience, and turtling, hold that third base, keep himself in it, and eventually take out Bumblebee with just the perfect move outs. Everything by Huck there was just so calculated, patient, and safe. So impressive display here. Bumblebee did a great job as well, but Huck just outplayed him, out-decided him there. Huck was able to decide what units to make. He had the perfect composition against Baneling, Mutalisk. Archon Stalker is quite good.
Yeah.
He also walled really well. He had a ton of cannons up. He didn't overmake cannons. He had just the right amount to hold things off.
It was almost a good thing that for Huck that they didn't actually have a battle with their armies, because those Banelings, if positioned correctly, he didn't have any sentries to force field the Banelings off. He could have blinked. He's actually really good at blinking away from Banelings, but if things had gone a little bit wrong and those Banelings had landed on his Stalkers, Bumblebee could have just taken out that army, and even if he didn't, he would have been able to rally reinforcements a lot better than Huck.
Yeah.
So the trade was basically the best option for Huck rather than trying to defend, because
Really
those
smart.
Banelings killed themselves on buildings and probes, which were not a factor in the trade.
And also, in my opinion, I feel like what happened with Huck was he saw the Banelings on the left side, right? He saw that army coming in. He remade his pylon, and he was like, I think I know what you're gonna do. And instead of like doing the base trade where like you wait till the last second, then you move out as your armies go in, he went out super early. He was already mostly to his opponent's base when the attack hit, so they were already fighting each other's bases. He forced the base trade. He knew it was the best situation for him. He morphed those Archons and his natural. Those really added a ton of extra DPS, not only to the Mutas, but to the Zerglings there. Really smart decision making by Huck. We'll see how he does here on Crossfire in game number 2. This is the GSL Hot 6 Code A Season 1.